Good evening, welcome to the overnight edition of From Day One. Art, Bell, and the Doctor are back with the final section of calls about lucid dreaming. So without further ado, here they are, Art Bell and Dr. I believe Holloway. Take it away, Doctor, and the immortal Art Bell.
Yeah, by the way.
Great. I love it.
The accent. Let's go to, you never know, Lynchburg, Virginia, I believe. Hello, Lynchburg.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask your guest, I'm not exactly sure what I would classify this dream as, if it was a lucid dream or what, but it had these weird ones. It's like going to a different, kind of like a weird place.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But it's like this one that really stands out was I was walking along, looked like this concrete sidewalk, kind of like a walkway, and it had this roof over top of it, and it looked like it was being supported by these items, and I was just walking along, just like a walk in the park, and I could tell there was these other people there, and they were just, looked to me like they were there doing the same thing, just visiting. And I look over to my right, and I see like this puddle, and it has kind of like this effect of like a like soap and water, kind of like that shining kind of rainbow type of effect.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked the question, what exactly am I looking at? I wasn't asking anybody in particular, and it was like there was somebody there that was with me that said, I can't remember the exact words she said, but it was something about like the souls of the dead.
Oh my!
You get a lot of people that have these dreams about going to weird places, because I've had about 2 or 3 of these my whole life, and they're always the same. There's always other people there, just like me, that just look like they're visiting.
Mm-hmm.
And they answer your questions.
Well, they didn't answer my question. It was somebody else that was there, but I could see this person. It was like they were speaking into my head.
Yeah. I do hear some dreams like that, where there's an invisible narrator, or there's an amorphous kind of guide who is helping to explain what's going on sometimes.
But you can't.
Yeah, I do hear dreams of that nature.
So what exactly is that?
Well, it's hard to say. I always err on the side of looking for personal material, if there's something to learn from it, if there's a takeaway for you. I also suspect that there are people and realms that we go to that are almost like an educational field trip. And we visit, and it's kind of a documentary, and it's interesting, but you come back and you scratch your head and don't know quite why you were there. And I hear more and more of that. I think we're remembering what some people call non-ordinary dreams, where perhaps we are visiting another wavelength.
Maybe another dimension.
That's what I was wondering. But it feels like, have you ever been to like an ashram?
Not personally, but I've seen
like a temple or.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of the feeling that you get. It's like a feeling of like peace, and you're away from all the hostility and the negativity and everything that you get from regular life.
Yeah.
Well, there sure is. There's more to dreaming than we think. I mean, obviously, we're able to go other places, do other things that we could normally never ever do, and that's why we're doing programs like this. Let's go to Raymond, somewhere in the world. Raymond, where are you?
Hi, I'm in the UK.
In the UK, okay. Early morning.
Yeah, but what is I had a dream, and it was a really vivid dream that I'll never forget.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the sun. I was actually inside the sun.
You were on the sun, in the sun, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
On the TV screen, they were watching all the publications and getting all the news for the Earth, and it was like I was told that every 11 years, it was basically like the sun cycle. every 11 years, people were chosen, and I knew this was a dream. I was told this was a dream too.
Mm-hmm.
People were chosen to actually fight demons in the sun.
Wow.
Now, I thought this was myself.
So this was told to you like a voice telling you this?
It was like other people that were in the dream with me were telling me
Mm-hmm.
what it was that was going on. It was really strange.
Wow.
I've just never had a dream like that ever in my life, and I've never heard of anybody that's had a dream like that.
Yeah. That's a wild one. I love it, though. I love it.
The sun, by the way, Doctor, goes in 11-year cycles.
Wow.
Or at least it has been. There's some recent information very concerning about that. But generally it goes in 11-year cycles, a full cycle being 22 years actually. But it'll be very active for 11 years and then not so active for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go to Dino on Skype. Hi, Dino.
Hey, Ed, how you doing?
Doing okay.
Good. First of all, your guest is so clear. I mean, it's like the clarity is awesome.
Yes. Well, that's Skype for you.
Exactly. Hey, everybody's asking, do you remember your OB in Paris, where you shot up above your body?
I do. And really, I guess that was an OB, but it was so fast, you know. Unfortunately, I was in Paris on vacation, out of my normal environment. I instantly, and I mean, it was so fast. I left my body, and I was in this place of indescribable beauty and joy. The feeling was incredibly wonderful, and then boom, I was back. So it was very, very short. I shocked myself awake.
Yeah. I remember the story. So
and if only I could go back. If only I could go back.
Exactly. You know what? Another thing, too, I wanted to ask your guest. I tend to, my dreams are so realistic that I actually have to go to bed with headphones on at night. Otherwise, I would just totally have a dream that is just so vivid, so real, and I have to, like, kind of tone it down with headphones and listen to either music or a podcast every single night, you know?
How does that help you?
You know what? I think just the music or the talking in the background keeps me from dreaming, I guess. But if I were to turn the show off or take the headphones off, I would definitely have a dream. And it's always a very, very vivid dream. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm just overactive or something. I don't know. But I just was wondering what she thought of that.
Well, Dino, are your dreams that are hyper vivid, do they seem like they're really happening? I mean, does it kind of feel like they're real?
Yes, they seem very real, which is why I started wearing headphones just to stop, because I found out that, hey, if I'm listening to something all night long and keeping the podcast and stuff that I'm listening to going, I don't dream.
Yeah.
But if I don't, and sometimes they're not the best dreams, you know, you have a nightmare or depends what you're watching, you know. So, you know, I don't know why that is.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I've got a break. You can both hold on. We'll be right back. This is Midnight in the Desert. Wonder what happens to people who fall asleep listening to my program. Some of them are pretty scary, right? Anybody have a story?
Well, you done me, and you bet I felt it. I tried to beat you, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks, and now I'm trying to get back. Before the cool done run out, I'll be giving it my best. It's nothing.
Spans the world. To callers from
outside the U.S. and Canada only. Use Skype with a headset mic if on a computer and call MITD 55. That's MITD 55.
I know everybody is hitting me on the wormhole about, you had an OBE in Paris, and of course I did, but as amazing and wonderful as it was, I don't consider it that, in other words, it was so instantaneous, so fast. I know it was an OBE, but I have never been able, A, to replicate it, and B, I've never been able to stay in the state at all. I mean, that was the one time. So what I would like to do is to be able to stay in that state, and that's kind of the point of this morning's program. To learn how to do something you don't know how to do. So once again, Dr. Jillian Holloway and our caller. Caller?
Yeah, Jillian.
Hi.
I guess just one more thing to talk, about is there any way to control your dreams? It's not like I've really attempted to, do any controlling of what I actually dream of, but I've taken the easy way out and put headphones on and just, put it aside,
I guess he's asking is, can you be a director? Is there something you can do prior to sleep that would allow you to sort of say, all right, you know what, tonight I'm going to have a dream about telling my boss off the way I've always wanted to?
Yeah, and this may be one of the best questions or best considerations of the whole evening. And that is absolutely yes. You can direct your dreams. You can nudge them. You can say, look, I get that was important, but you just scared the bejeebers out of me. Can we do that again, but without the terror, so I can have a chance to understand what the message might be, if there is one? And your dreams will tone down or increase. And what happens when we have dream deprivation and when we isolate ourselves from the dreaming process is it's a nightmare induction. That is, you'll make the nightmares worse by turning away from them. So, use your judgment, use your headphones, but write the dreams down that you can remember, kind of think about them symbolically, get a hold of some material and see if you can decode them a little bit, and your nightmares will stop. That is the best cure for nightmares that there is sort of turning towards them and asking that they be toned down.
Toned down. Is this are we praying for this? We're just thinking it? We're doing what?
No, you are talking to your own mind. You're talking to yourself.
Yes,
And all you have to say is, look, I get that, I got it. I'm listening.
Okay,
you have my full attention, but tone it down.
Is this prior to sleep?
Yes. Or after you wake up from a nightmare and your heart's pounding and you're so sweaty you have to change your pajamas.
Right.
Go get a drink of water, lie down again and say, okay, let's start over. I get that this is big, but give it to me another way because I can't handle much more of this. And your dreams will give you something similar but without the terror.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'm very hesitant to answer this next call. It comes from Mitch, and I need to have a talk with Mitch about his profile picture. It looks like a booking picture, and his eyes are really wide, like he's done a lot of speed, so I'm hesitant, but I will. Hello, Mitch. Hi. You got to change that picture, Mitch.
Yeah, no, I made that account 4 years ago.
Okay, you're all broken up, too. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So get real close to your mic and talk.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're kind of broken up.
All right. Hopefully it fixed itself. I was calling about my recent Lucid Dreaming.
Mitch, it's not going to fix itself, so I don't know what kind of mic you're on, but you need to change that. And absolutely, Mitch, change that profile picture. It's just not something people would answer. Let's go to the phones. Sorry about that, Mitch, but you were just sort of here and gone. On the phone line, you're on the air.
Hi, I got a couple quick questions. First, I haven't had a single nightmare in years. And I was wondering what if that causes that, or if there's anything I'm doing that.
Do you want to have a nightmare?
I wouldn't mind it occasionally, just for an interesting experience.
That's it. He wants a nightmare.
Okay.
That's an unusual request, but how would he ensure a nightmare?
Well, you might want to expose yourself to some scary movies right before bed, or scary, read some Stephen King, that kind of thing, right before bed. That does it for some people.
I do listen to this show.
Well, you're on the right track.
God. Yeah, I think she's right. I mean, we're scary, but we're not that scary. Walking Dead, or, as she mentioned, Stephen King, something like that. Immerse yourself in something of that sort, and it just might work. If you really, really want a nightmare. You want a bad one, huh?
Well, just something to spice it up every now and then. Also, I've had, once in my life, I've had a precognition dream, or however you would say that. And it was a repeated dream that I had over and over again. It was in the summer of 2001, and I dreamed that I was walking on street level in a downtown area. I'm in the Twin Cities, so I assumed it was something like Minneapolis or something like that. And as I'm walking, I see a plane fly into a skyscraper.
Right.
And of course, this was a few months before 9/11. And since then, I've occasionally had repeating dreams, and every single time I worry that it's something that's going to come true, and it never happens.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very interesting. All right, let's ask Jillian, Dr. Jillian. Dreams that repeat, as he just suggested, could be, or perhaps they're not precognitive, but it would suggest, wouldn't it, if you keep having it, that it's some recurring cause?
Yeah, most recurring dreams are actually personal material. Something that we haven't solved, or something that we're working out, or some kind of silly thing we keep doing over and over again, or the things like that. And so, but there are precognitive. I mean, a lot of people have a once-in-a-lifetime experience, like you said, with a precognitive scene that keeps playing over and over again. And usually if it's something really off the wall, like a plane going into a skyscraper that has nothing to do with you, that those are more commonly, I shouldn't say they're common because they're uncommon, but they can be associated with a precognitive. It's almost like a tear in the future.
Right.
The echo comes back.
Right. I wonder, Doctor, if very large events like that cause a large number of precognitive dreams. Now, I'm sure if we asked, there'd be a landslide of people saying, yes, I also dreamt of planes going into buildings. So if the event is larger, a world-scale type event, are there going to be more precognitive dreams of it? It'd be an interesting study. Oh,
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the theory that it is almost an echo across time. And the bigger the event, the louder the sound.
Okay. Let's go to Deborah Ann on Skype. Hello.
Hi, you were talking about wondering if people survived impact when they hit the bottom of falling dreams. I've actually had a semi-reoccurring dream or sequence of dreams that have happened over a pretty good span of my life where I'm the passenger in a car, different car every time, different driver every time, different road every time, and it always goes off the cliff, straight down, and slams in the ground, and I wake up upon impact, but I actually do make the impact and then wake up.
Are you making a connection, Deborah Ann, with anything in your life, or are you worried that this is precognitive?
No, neither. I don't really give much significance to dreams, but it scared the heck out of me when I was a kid. It's literally been a reoccurring thing from about 4 years old till in my 30s. I have it like every, 5-10 years or so. Well, every 5 years or so.
Do you shy away from high places?
Yeah. Well, not like extremely. I get kind of that woozy feeling looking over edges.
Right.
But it's not so much that I totally avoid looking over edges.
Well, my advice would be, if you keep having that dream, stay the heck away from ledges.
Yeah, I do get pretty nervous when I'm driving and as a passenger and we go over an edge. We're driving by an edge. That does make me pretty nervous.
Me too. I've been to a lot of mountaintops, and oh boy, that is scary, and I don't even have dreams about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, wanted to share. Thanks.
Deborah, thank you very much. Wow. Really amazing. Everybody is in on this. There's no question about it. Let's go to Phoenix on the phone. You're on the air.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Art, I can totally relate to your frustration dreams, the one you were talking about earlier. You're not alone. I don't understand it either, if you know what I'm talking about.
The sexual aspect. Yes.
Yeah. I could totally relate to that. It happens every time, like a curse. But anyway,
it is like a curse, actually.
I wake up like, what?
There's got to be a medical. There's got to be some kind of medical explanation for it.
I don't know. I have no clue, but it's been that way for the longest time.
I know, but we've got a dream expert.
Yeah, I don't. Well, that's why I'm calling. I got another thing. I got actually two more quick things. Second thing is, your guest isn't the only one who has survived after dying in a dream. Mm-hmm. I've done it. I've had one that will probably stick to me for the rest of my life. And basically, quickly, I was just standing looking at a lightning storm outside, and all of a sudden, lights out, and I wake up, but I'm dead, but I don't know it until I look in the mirror in the car with my brother and sister, in the front, and they're like, one minute he's here, and the next minute he's gone. And I was just like, I felt kind of relieved because I'm like, there is an afterlife.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wow, there is the hereafter, so I don't have to worry about eating or living, like a human being anymore. But, that sounds kind of strange, but I'll never forget it. I can't go into too much detail because I don't want to spend too much time. But the biggest question is, I have dreams I'm somebody else. There's people in my dreams I don't recognize them. It's not like a blank face when I see these people. Okay, it's like I'm somebody, but I'm not Richard. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you dream that you're someone else, do you ever see Richard?
No, it's mostly because I'm relating to them. I didn't look in the mirror like I did in my death dream. Because when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see anything. And I was like, wow, I'm not here, but I am. But in the other people's dream, like I'm somebody else. Like in one dream, I killed somebody, I murdered somebody.
Wow.
And I put him in a trunk. And I've had this kind of dream a couple of times, but I put him in the trunk of a car, and I got rid of the car. And I was really nervous about that. Or I wrapped them in plastic and dug a hole and hid them somewhere so they couldn't be found. And I was always worried in my dream that somebody would find it.
Wow.
Sure.
Yeah, and sometimes I have smells in my dream, which isn't that great. And, I can smell it. One time when I dreamt I was dead, not the one I just told you about, but I don't know what formaldehyde tastes like, but I woke up and I could taste this weird taste in my mouth. But I remember the smell from elementary school, and I'm like, why would I, that's the one I had
this guy who called a little while ago and wanted nightmares? You need to get together with him.
Get together.
I have dreams like, I don't understand why I'm somebody else. Like, I was in the Marines. I don't know anything about being in the Marines or the Army, but I had a dream they dug a hole. There was like a ditch, and they made the CI was screaming, "Get in that hole, get in there!" And you had to swim because there's still water to the other side and come out. I don't know if that's a real thing, but I wouldn't doubt it if there's such a thing, to train somebody to swim underwater in the dark and there's stuff like that. It's
sounds like SEAL training.
Somebody else.
Okay, thank you very much for the call and the comment. That's wow, that's really something. What do you think, Jillian, when you dream of murder and getting rid of bodies? And, wow.
Yeah, you know what? I'm so glad he shared that one. It was pretty gutsy to do too, because that is so common. That is a common recurring dream with personal variations. It's called burying the body, and it is a common nightmare stress dream, and it usually repeats, and you're always trying to hide the evidence. And it's nothing to worry about. Doesn't mean you're a serial killer. It's usually about something in your life that you're tossing out and that you should take a second look at to simplify it.
Well, his dreams went pretty far.
Yeah.
Taste of formaldehyde.
Yeah.
So that's a step up from telling off your boss for sure.
Yeah.
So if you want to have a dream like that, again, there's no special key to it. I'm going back to the poor fellow who wanted nightmares.
Yeah, that's not a common request, but I think that you could, just ask for your dreams to have more of an edge, and that would be a place to start if you wanted to look at some of your edgy material.
Yeah, see, well, this show, fall asleep with this show, should do the job. Scott, hello, Scott, on Skype.
Hey, great show. I'm glad I don't have the dreams of the last guy.
Yeah.
But I used to, when I was in my 20s, I used to have a fair number of lucid dreams, and they came about from keeping a dream diary. And I could get conscious control over my actions within a dream setting, but like if I wanted to go practice doing something like skiing or, whatever, I could never change to a different dream setting or get into the situation that I would like to have, had practiced, like rehearsal for real life type of thing. Can you get good enough with enough practice to where you can do stuff like that? And how would you, manipulate your way into a different setting?
You want to start from the onset of sleep, Scott. It's a lot easier to dream walk into the sport that you want to practice or the landscape that you want to be in than it is to already be in a movie that's halfway through and you want to change from the gangster scene in Chicago to practicing downhill skiing somewhere. That is really tricky to do, and people don't have much luck with it. What you want to do is either after you awaken from a dream, in the middle of the night, you have to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water or anything like that. If you awaken and get into a new position, start thinking about the setting in which you want to have the lucid dream and travel towards it. Some people will ride a horse towards their dreams, take a walk towards their dream as if your dream is located in a place and you are moving towards it. When you get there, your dream will begin. And that's one way to program that.
Really? So are you consciously entering the dream as you're falling asleep then, or does it just kind of?
Yes, you are, and you may even feel as though you are pushing through a little bit of a membrane or a little bit of a force field, or as though you're, when Art was talking about that sensation of walking through a wall in an ubi, you might feel a little bit of resistance. That's often described as you push into the dream realm. But if you don't feel it, just imagine it. Just go with it as if you were visualizing it, and you'll get there.
Okay, and is it, I found keeping a dream diary was, for me, really the key to getting to where I could become lucid in my dreams. Is there anything like that to do, like if you wake up and, want to go back into it, should you track that sort of thing too?
Just keeping some kind of a dream diary, even once a week, one dream a week, that kind of thing, that's going to help enormously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, great show. I'm really enjoying it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Also, a dream diary helps you in what way?
Oh, it helps you become, it gets that back and forth communication between the conscious mind and what's going on at the dreaming level. And it's as though, your dreaming mind is sending messages in a bottle, basically. And you are now opening the messages and reading them and thinking, what could they mean? Do they mean anything? What is this? And if you do that on a regular basis, you're going to become so aware of your dream state that you'll automatically become lucid.
Huh, that's amazing. Really amazing. Okay, let's try going outside the country to Mario. I also think down maybe perhaps in Australia.
Yeah, you're spot on, huh? And hi, Gillian.
Hi.
Lovely to hear from you both. I would actually love to get your interpretation of probably the most profound experience that I've had in my life with regards to dreaming, and just see what your thoughts are. The interesting part is it's actually manifested physical, like a phantom sensation in real life every time I even describe or talk about the experience. And it happened roughly about 10 years ago, and I was overseas at the time. And I was in a courtyard, and my back was up against a large concrete pillar. And if I looked to my left, my family was all sort of there, roughly about maybe 10 feet away, and they all sort of had this look of horror on their faces. And then as I start to turn my head to look what's in front of me, I notice the Hat Man. And to make things even more spooky, he was actually holding a revolver and pointing it directly at my head. Before I knew it, everything just went black, and I felt this tremendous pain of like a shuddering sense of electricity just going through my head to every single nerve that I have. And then everything was just silent and black. Then I slowly started to hear a whistling of the wind, which started turning into howling. And then these kind of like spotlights were floating around everywhere, but you couldn't tell where they were coming from. Then a giant flash happened, and then I'm in this wormhole-looking thing traveling up faster and faster, and it sounds just like when you go to the air show and you hear the jets screaming past you, just roaring, and I'm getting, I feel like I'm traveling to the end, and I notice another flash of light. And as I look around me, there's blackness, but below my feet I can see the world, and it's slowly shrinking, and I can see, from what I later find out, the continent of Hawaii. And I realise at that point that I've died.
Well, it's actually just an island. But...
Yeah, and as I'm sort of coming to that realisation, an overwhelming sense of just freedom of not having to do anything. Like, you don't have to eat, you don't have to sleep, you don't have to worry about money, just really nothing like I've ever experienced before.
Okay, Doctor, is what he's describing out of body or a dream?
Well, it's hard to say. I think it's a dream. I think it's a dream at this point, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I did know that for the next few days I wanted to go back to that sense of freedom, but it was, you almost feel like you're in a way sort of sad that you can't get back there.
Yeah.
I just couldn't, I was just like, oh yeah, life seems kind of a bit now.
Oh. Well, what was the sensation that comes to you that you can remember even now as you describe it?
Every time, guaranteed. It's like a push-pull sensation, almost like when you have two magnets that are opposing each other, and the sensation is directly where I felt like the bullet had entered into my head.
Oh my.
Yeah, every time, guaranteed.
And it sounds like he had a NDE experience to go with it.
Yeah, and it's confusing because I wasn't sure, like who the best guest to call would be, but I feel like Gillian seems to be someone that might be able to shed some light on it, because you have shadow people, NDE, potentially OBE, so it's a lot going on.
It is a lot. It's kind of like a compilation of your show, Art.
Again,
we've got everything here, except Mothman.
We've got a show coming up on that.
Do you? Oh, well, see, there you go. So what's your question, Mario? Did you want some kind of how this all ties together?
Yeah, I'm just curious what, I know that's a lot maybe to take in, and probably you might not be able to give a detailed answer, but any sort of interpretation that you'd be able to gather from any of that?
Well, here's the bottom line with interpreting any dream. The messaging of the dream, one of the values of the dream, is what you take away from it. So you don't have to mess around with every single symbol or, what triggered it. Just what's your takeaway? And it's clear that your takeaway on this dream was kind of a spiritual one, basically, wasn't it?
Right. He's gone now, but right.
Yeah.
To me, it sounded like a terror dream or a nightmare, if you will, and then death, and then moving somewhere after death. That's what it sounded like to me. Maybe I've been doing this show too long, but he mentioned a wormhole, traveling through a wormhole.
Mm-hmm.
So that sounds kind of like an after-death deal.
Yeah, it does. For all intents and purposes, exactly, a near-death experience with the accompanying kind of upliftment that people sometimes report.
Yes, okay. Let's go to the lines. Dennis in Massachusetts, I think.
Yes, Dennis, Massachusetts. I'm Joe. I wanted to, earlier caller touched upon levitating.
Yes.
And this is a common theme in many of my dreams. To get around instead of just walking like everybody else, I hover a foot off the ground. And I move around that way, and sometimes I could go a little higher up in the air. And people look at me and say, wow, how do you do that? And I say, well, I've always been able to do that. And that's all I really remember from it.
That's enough. I'd love to do that. That sounds like fun.
I know maybe dreams are supposed to be symbolic, right?
Well, a lot of them are symbolic, Joe. Yeah. That's a great image.
I could levitate in real life.
Yeah. Well, you probably do in a metaphorical sense. You probably are, there's something about your perspective or your way of going through life that is not just the ordinary way. And it probably gives you a little bit of a different perspective. That would be what I would work with that symbolism.
Yeah,
Joe, I can
out of the ordinary.
Joe, I can one up you a little bit. I think when I was 4 years old or so, I was able to levitate.
Really?
Yeah, really. I'm sure that I'm full of it, but I remember being able to levitate. So, what can I tell you? I mean, in real life. Now, maybe it was a dream. Who knows? But I'm telling you, I think I did do it when I was really young. Everybody hold tight. And, Joe, thank you very much for the call. And we'll be back. This is Midnight.
The midnight moon is drifting through the lazy sway of a tree. I saw the look in your eyes, looking into mine, seeing what you wanted to see.
Midnight in the Desert, exclusively on the Dark Matter Digital Network with Art Bell. Invite you to call now. 1-952-CALL ART. That's 1-952-225-5278.
With regard to that last commercial, straight edge screwdrivers don't bother me a bit. Terrified of Phillips, though. They've got kind of a otherworldly tip to them, right? Just kidding. Doctor, welcome back. And my guest is, so that you all know, Dr. Jillian Holloway. We're talking about dreams. And there is a type of dream I have that is really annoying, Doctor, and it is annoying. In other words, I wake up usually having to use the restroom, right? And I wake up from the dream and I say, that was annoying, that was frustrating, that dream really, there's a word for it that I don't want to use, it was awful. In other words, I had to work. I was trying to attain some goal that I couldn't attain, and I was just frustrated as hell, and then I woke up and I said, I'm not going for that one again. And when I came back to bed, I did what you suggested, turned over the other way. I had a restful night for the rest of the night. That's happened to me quite a number of times. Is that normal?
Yeah, actually it is. I mean, what you're bringing up is one of the secrets to dream re-entry, which is going back into the same dream, or dream avoidance, or you want to go into completely the other one.
That's right. That's like, I've had it with that dream. Go away.
Yeah. Your physical position has a great deal to do with going back into the same dreamscape. So if you don't want to go there, change your position as much as you can.
Why does it have anything to do with it?
We are not sure.
We don't know so much about the brain. I guess we don't know. Out of the country again with Alex somewhere. Hello, Alex. Hello, Alex. Going once.
Whoops.
Going twice. Alex is there, but I guess he's not hearing us. Too bad. Hello? Hello, Alex.
Hello?
Yes, hello, Alex.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Hi.
You
Alex from London.
London?
Oh, okay.
Hi.
It's early there. You need more coffee.
I'm trying to work at the moment.
Oh,
I'd call in.
Okay.
Basically, I had a dream. It's just a short one. I saw this big iron door. It had loads of cogs and bolts on it, and it was all unfolding. And all of a sudden, it opened up, and then I woke up, and I was thinking, "Wow, that's weird." Then later on that day, I was watching a movie, and there it was, that exact iron door, exactly as I saw it in the dream. You know, in front of me. So, very strange. I had some weird dream where I actually saw the future for the next day.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it.
Yeah. You know, that's pretty common. And it does happen. You're absolutely right. And Carl Jung said that we borrow images from the future, sometimes just as easily as we borrow images from the past.
That's cool.
Yeah. And sometimes they're meaningful, and sometimes they're not as personally meaningful, so you need to always check for that, see if there's a door opening in your own life that looked like, it was pretty tough, now it's flying open. If that doesn't make sense to you, then it might have been more of a fun snapshot of the future, but you always want to check for that.
A fun snapshot of the future.
Yeah, it happens all the time. See, if we remembered all of our dreams, we would all notice this happening a couple of times a week. It is that common.
So you think keeping a dream diary is a good way to do it?
I think it is really the ticket. Yes, I do.
Generally, if you don't write it down, you're going to forget it pretty soon, too. Real life takes over completely and the dream just fades away. All right, here comes Andrew somewhere or another. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Andrew from Seattle.
Okay.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Good evening, Art, and good evening, Doctor.
Hi.
I have a quick comment and then a question about a recurring dream that I have. And Art, I will say that, yes, I do occasionally fall asleep to your show at night. And several weeks ago, you had someone on who had recorded the sounds of the Sasquatch talking to one another.
Oh, yes.
And I had a very rude awakening when those audio tapes came on.
Yeah, I bet.
That was very disturbing. I do have a time traveler's account though, so I went back and listened to the whole show.
So you could be disturbed again.
To be a little bit less disturbed and put it more in context.
Not exactly when doves cry.
No, exactly. So a reoccurring dream that I have in about 2 or 3, every 3 months, I discover a secret passage in my house that leads to a ladder, which ultimately leads to my attic. The attic space is much larger than the actual attic in my house. It's composed of a lot of deteriorating lath and plaster. There's holes in the ceiling. There's holes in the roof where the rain's getting in. And several creatures living in the attic.
Hide behind the chainsaws.
Yeah. I don't know if this is a stress-induced dream. Like I said, I have it every few months. But it's always typically the same, where I discover the secret passage leads into the attic, holes in the roof, and creatures living up there. Any comments on or any?
Well, my comment would be that sounded like a pretty nervous laugh to me.
Yeah, maybe.
Julian.
Real quickly, how long have you been having it? A couple years?
So I've got that going.
Hold on, caller. Hold on. Question. Go ahead, Julian.
I just want to know how long, if you can remember how long you've been having it. A year or 2 years? Do you know?
At least 20.
Oh my.
20?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This has been going on for quite a long time. And like I said, at least I haven't found any toys in my attic.
Well, now I see why you had the nervous laugh. That's serious. That probably really means something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's when dreams recur over the lifespan, then they're more about an enduring question that we're trying to solve. We're trying to find the answer to a puzzle that we're taking with us throughout our life. So it doesn't mean it's something real bad by any means, but it does mean it's something that it's worth your while if you could resolve it. It would improve matters. So the discovery of something in a house that leads to a room or something that's unusual, that's a very, very common theme. And we believe that the house represents yourself in your life, and this secret thing represents something in your life that you would be better off to bring out into the light of day. Again, it's usually not a secret skeleton in your closet. It's just usually something that's been relegated to the margins because we get really busy and we've learned how to cope in a certain way. So it might help to think about your life for the last 20 years, and if there's a question that you just haven't had time to deal with, it's usually a matter of time and priorities, not a matter of horrific secrets.
Certainly.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling.
You're very welcome. Let's go here, I guess, to Portland, Oregon. KXL territory. It's going well.
I have a question. I had a few dreams where it is a reoccurring or stacking up dream where I'm in one dream and it leads into the next and the next, but it's dramatic. It's like, say I had the one where like you're in a car with somebody and they crash and then you go flying and then you hit something, but instead of waking up, you wake up in the dream into another dream. And then it turns into, like, I'm drowning or I'm underwater, and I am navigating, and it's like my family's there, and it's like my friends and all this stuff, but it goes into, like, 5 dreams in one dream.
Holy mackerel.
And do you know what's your take on that?
I've never even heard of that. Doctor, can you do that? Dreams within dreams within dreams?
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, one of the things that'll help you is if you can keep a dream journal. That's going to calm down the chaos effect. And we do know that a lot of times when your mind is trying to address a stress or solve a puzzle or get you prepared for something, it will focus in different dramas, different little movie vignettes, but you're working out the same problem over and over again. Whether you're falling off a cliff or drowning or the elevator doesn't stop and you crash, doesn't matter what the drama is, you're working on the same problem. So I wouldn't be too disturbed about that collapsing drama movie that you find yourself in, but try to look at the symbolism and whether there's just too much going on or whether there's a lot of chaos or things feel out of control or whether you're the Lone Ranger heroic person in your family or group.
What was that? that's what it was. I mean, it got to a point where, like, we were sitting in a restaurant, and I was sitting with my sister and my mom, and these guys came in, and one of them, like, smacked my sister, and it turned into, like, this heroic kind of, I don't know what it is, like a Superman kind of thing, but it was weird. I mean, like, I remember every part of this whole dream, and that's the weird thing. It's been bothering me ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a hero dream. I get it.
Well, it is in there. You know, we go through certain phases in our lifespan where we tend to have these hyper dramatic, hyper violent dreams, and they aren't really something to worry about. But again, the more you work with your dreams, read about them, talk to people about their dreams, the more they'll kind of calm down and become more overtly meaningful and less melodramatic.
Okay, next time you go out to buy a coat, instead of getting a coat, get a red cape. See if your life improves.
Well, this show's pretty good tonight, but thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so let's go to, is it Ren? Is that correct? Hello, Ren. R-E-N is Ren, right?
Yes.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you. I'm in Scotts Valley, California. Great to have you back, Art. I talked to you once before, even though you got mad and hung up on me, but that's another story.
All right, well, I've got my finger close to the button, so go ahead.
A few minutes ago, you had a call from a man who's claimed that he had a recurring dream over the course of 20 years, and that really seemed to surprise your guest.
And me?
Well, I'm 62 now, and ever since my 18th year, I've had off and on a recurring dream, which I often feel has become its own, might be its own particular category of dream. When I was 18, my father died, which is the threshold there. And the dream, as I'm sure is very, very common for a lot of people, is that my father was still alive, which surprised us. You know, the hospital made a mistake. He was still there.
Right.
He separated from the family and moved to someplace else, and there was a certain yearning to have him back.
Of course.
But I really, over the course of apparently at least 2 or 3 decades, I was having this dream consistently, and it almost created its own reality in my sleeping.
What was the dream? That your dad was still alive?
Was still alive in spite of some obscure notion that he had died, or that he came back, or that somehow his death didn't count. But the odd thing about this dream is that it's recurring over the course of several decades, and just a few years ago, it occurred to me that I was having this dream off and on since my 18th year. And so the dream had become almost institutionalized in its own way, the reality of it, the storyline, and I dreamt that it was, very real.
Okay, well, quick question: were you dreaming that your dad was visiting you, in the current time, or was it the storyline consistently just that there was a mistake?
Yeah.
And he was.
There was not a lot of contact with my father in the course of these dreams. It was just believing that he was out there,
right,
and that I was supposed to meet up with him, or supposed to go to work, and because I worked with him in his hardware store, and that sometimes I would go and go to the store and assist him with something or something like that. But there was we were never terribly close in reality, and so there was this concrete distance.
Maybe you were closer to him than you think you were, and the psychological effect of his death was more than you think it was. Anyway, I'm not an analyst, but that's kind of be my guess. What do you think, Doctor?
That's a really interesting one, and I'm glad you brought it up. It's called It's All a Mistake. And that's a very common grief dream. That's not considered a visitation but rather a process, a personal process dream. And because it's taken place over so many years, it has become a part of your psychic, and I'm sure it's emblematic for a combination of things for you. It's a real marker, and I think you sense that from the tone of your voice as you describe it.
Sure. Okay. Not a lot of time here. Gee. Let's go to the phones. And hello, you're on the air. Hello. Going once. Going. Yes. Hello. Yeah, there's something wrong with your connection, sir.
Okay, can you hear me? This is David.
I hear you, David, but there's something horribly noisy.
I'm truck driving right now.
You're in a truck?
Bad line.
You're in a truck? I want to hear the horn.
Okay, hold on here.
All right, I buy it. Proceed.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, hey, Alex. I've been listening to you since the early 90s, man. You're my hero.
Thank you.
Out there. And Doctor, what a great show. I've never called before, and I built up the nerve to finally call, but I wanted to share quick dreams. One I time traveled, where I hadn't even been born in this dream, but I was speaking to friends. It told them I'm not alive, but write down this phone number. This phone number doesn't exist. Call this number in 30 years. I'm about to wake up.
Oh, my God.
Write the phone number down.
Listen, my friend, I am so sorry to do this to you, but we are out of time. Hold on the line now. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, don't hang up. Don't hang up. Dr. Holloway, I want to thank you so very much for a wonderful program. And I think we've got links to your website and all that up there, don't we?
Yes, you do. Super. It's just been a real treat, Art. You and your people. I love you all.
Thank you, and let us do it again sometime. There's no doubt of that, I'm sure.
All right. Take care.
Take care, Dr. Jillian Holloway. Wow. That's hot stuff. All right. I've decided that we need a new good night for the world, for all 25 time zones out there. We need my friend in a truck. And by the way, what are you listening to in that truck?
What am I listening to? Oh, my iPhone.
Your iPhone, okay. What I'd like you to do is say, good night, all 25 time zones and the world.
Good night, all 25 time zones and the world.
All right, brother. Thank you all, and, have a good night. Oh, don't forget, tomorrow night, open lines, anything goes.
Thank you, Art Bell and Dr. Jillian Holloway on Lucid Dreaming. That, of course, means we have a new topic tomorrow night here in the overnight on From Day One. Until then, though, that will conclude us for this particular broadcast day as well. Please make sure you do like, share, and subscribe. Get us to those goals, as we always have, with the 50,000 views, 1,000 subscribers. At 50,000 views gets us the nice red boxes that some of you do on occasion ask about, so that we could send those out and help you out on rock and roll. Coinbase, Ibotta, and Gain.gg, of course, are below. And, of course, the other one, the 1,000 subscribers, is just so YouTube will put us in the algorithms and make the show viable. Till next time, make sure you do like, share, subscribe, be kind to one another, and release the Krakens as we march along this night and every night with Art Bell in the overnight, of course, the Frauditors, Auditors, and Substance in the evening, and, of course, a quickie version with a court case, usually, in the afternoon, here from Day One. Until then, have a great night's sleep. If you have a lucid dream, enjoy, and let us know in the comments, as always. And until then, be kind to one another. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. We'll end as soon as this fight in the brawl concludes. Looks like we just about got it. There we go. So again, have a great night here from day one. Have a great night, everybody.